Good morning, Encounter. This week I want to talk to you guys about the story of Esther. We're going to be looking into that a little bit, and I think a lot of people already spoke on this about Esther and all of that. So I want to talk about her book, but not as so much about her. I want to talk about Mordecai. Not this Mordecai, but Mordecai. I think the most beautiful about this guy is that his faith, he had trust in the Lord. And in this week, I had to tell a young boy that, you know what, you need to keep your side clean. And Jesus said it, that we should live our lives so pure that when people looking for fault, or when they blame you and they point the finger, when they come and search, they should find nothing. And I want to share this with you because it's so important. And if you understand this, I promise you, you'll be a better grown up. Like I normally say, you need to read the word so you can understand and keep that knowledge within. I think it's in Proverbs where it says, treasure this knowledge that I give you, treasure these things and keep it close to your heart. And it's important that you read your word so you can keep it into your heart, that one day when you're older, it becomes easier to recollect what the Lord has said and what the Lord is doing and how He wants to do things. The only way you're going to become a better adult is when you understand the word, because then you know how to react and how to act. Mordecai was the uncle of Esther, and when the king sent his guys to go get the queen, and the queen said no, so they ended up sitting together. You know the whole story. Then he had a party. Like, this guy is like, we know where these long parties come from. He started that. It's Xixia's fault. You know, and he had this big party, and in his banquet he got drunk and he wanted to brag with his wife and called the queen, and the queen said no. And sitting there and disappointed, you know, guys with big egos and everything, so he was kind of like embarrassed and whatever. So he called these guys that's close to him, and they sat down and they talked about what can we do to the queen. You know, what is the punishment? What is she supposed to get out of this because she disobeyed the king? So they ended up coming up with this whole thing of, but it's not just affecting you, because if this woman here, what the queen did, they're not going to listen to us. The whole nation will not listen to their husbands. So at the end of the day, they decided to dethrone her. That she's not allowed, she's not a queen anymore. She was not allowed to get into his presence. And obviously, I mean, the king got lonely and he was like, I need another wife, you know, another queen. So they got people throughout the whole nation, throughout this whole kingdom where he ruled. They went around getting the young girls, the virgins and whatever, and Esther was one of them. And she got into this place, and this is so amazing how God works. Listen, maybe there is a situation in your life that feels like it's pulling you out of your family, it's pulling you out of what you know, it's pulling you out of your comfort zone. But I want to tell you this, most of the things that goes through in our lives is to prepare us for our future. So this happens and everything is done, and she ends up there in the palace where they, in the palace of the king, where they actually have all these ladies and they training them to show them and getting them ready and bathing them and cleaning them and doing all that, the whole ritual thing that they used to do. And every night they will have they will take one lady to go spend time with the king and to get to know, and you know, the king will choose from there. That's where the bachelors come from. Yeah. Okay, so what happens is the guy the eunuch that was busy taking care of the girls, he got favor for Esther, and he liked her very much, and he started showing her the things, and she was actually, you know, one of those kids. I think she was the straight and narrow type. She listened and she learned and she studied, and you know, she did what she was supposed to do. And when it came her turn to go meet the king, she took the advice of what the eunuch, the guy that was taking care of them, said, and she was like, okay, cool, I'll do that, and she did exactly that. So she went in, and you know what, the king favored her. At the end of the day, we know the story, she became queen. And then I want to come back to Mordecai. Mordecai was so cool for me. This was really, for me, amazing. Mordecai is chilling by the gate. He wants to check on Esther, like, I hope she's doing good, you know, and standing by the gate most of the time. And one day he hears the people, two guys plotting to kill the king, to assassinate the king. Assassin. You know, and while they're talking about this whole thing, he hears them, and then he goes to the king's guard and he tells them, and they go investigate, and they find out it was true, and they got these guys and they get thrown into prison, and then you know how it happens back then, they just kill them. So One day in the future, way in the future, there's this guy Haram, the villain in the story. Haram had a issue with Mordecai, and after a while, the issue grows so much like you know what? Most of the time is we don't even know what we're hating people. We don't know where it comes from and whatever, but it happens. Growing up, there was families that don't speak to each other. The kids don't speak to each other because of what happened with their grandfathers or whatever. And we just went on the journey and on that whole thing and ran with it. It's like the same thing as racism in the country. We hate what nation thinks is better than the other, and the other one thinks, we're gonna show you. And there's always a chaotic nonsense that's going on, but we don't even know where it started. So let me explain what I mean. So Haram didn't like Mordecai, and he couldn't sort it out between him and Mordecai, and it will be sorted, but he didn't. He decided the minute he got a higher position, he used this position to abuse his power and go after all the Jews. Went to the king, whispered some good stuff, like, let's kill these people, they're not praying towards you, they're not listening, and the stuff that we say they're not doing, so can we just destroy them? And the only reason he did this is because his ego was hurt. Now the whole nation of people are going to be killed because of his ego. You see where it started. We don't even know where this race issue comes from, where it started. But we're sitting with the same nonsense up until today. But I want to tell you this. Get out of the nonsense. Start the reasoning. Use your brain. And live and be free. People are people. It ends there. But okay, cool. So Mordecai hears this plot that he has, like he's gonna, on a certain day, they're gonna kill all the Jews and whatever. And Mordecai sends a message to Esther, like, listen, this is what's happening. We all gonna die because of this thing. You need to do something. Talk to the king, please. And Esther sends a message back, like, ooh, you don't dare walking into the king's chambers and just start talking. I might be killed. And this is the most profound thing for me when Mordecai says, even though you can't do anything, I know that my God will send help from somewhere else. So right there, where it looks like the only person that could have helped them, she's not sure if she can, and right there, he doesn't lose hope because his trust and hope was not placed on her, but placed on God himself. So I want to say to you, when you're going through trouble, do not place like for instance, don't put your hope on me. I might let you down, you know what I'm saying? I might come through and say a bunch of nonsense that doesn't make you feel good, but I'm going to promise you this. If you're trusting in God, yes, reach out to me, but trusting in God, that God will use me or he will do something through me to meet you. Because the most important thing is that we put God first, and when we do that, everything will just follow into place. So Mordecai, my man, he is saying to her, we need your help, but if you can't do it, don't worry. If you can't do it, God will bring help from somewhere else. He'll save us from somewhere else. And what happens is this. Esther sends him a last message, and the message says, okay, I will do it. Get everybody to fast with me. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not good in fasting. That's why I look the way I look. I look good because I'm not good in fasting. I love food. Peter Nell always says every time when he walks into my office, I'm eating. And it's true. I think he's just choosing the lunchtime to walk there. So my thing is this, what I'm trying to say to you is this, we need to come to a place where we realize that it matters. God didn't create us to be an island. He didn't create you to be all alone. He created us to be as a people, to join together, to become one, as a family. And the Bible refers to it that we are a body and we are one with one head, which is Jesus. Keep your eye on Jesus. And when you follow him, and I'm following him, it doesn't matter where you are in the body, you are positioned in the right place because you're following the head. So, she asked that the guy should just fast with her for 3 days. And they went out and they started fasting. And she came up with a brilliant idea. I mean, it can only be God that gave her this thing. And it was really amazing for me to see how God worked. She finds favor with the king. She goes in and she requests that he must come to the banquet that she's going to host. And she requires that he must bring the one person that he is the enemy. And the king doesn't even notice. And she requested that Aaron must come with. And this guy is so excited. He goes home so excited. And as excited he was, because for me it's the highest honor to be invited, just you and the king and the queen. He feels like he's on top of the world. And as he walks out of the gate, who does he see? He sees Mordecai again. And the anger and the frustration starts stirring up within him so much. He goes home. He starts talking to his friends and family, and they advise him like, listen, go to the king, tell the king he must impale this guy. And he's ready. He get that pole ready to impale him on the stick and put it out like, yeah, we got him. And as he gets all these things ready, and remember, all Mordecai did was not worship him. He was not going to worship a false god. He was not willing to sacrifice what God has called him for and what God said to him. Or easy, simple, he was not willing to move away from the truth. And the truth is, God is the only God. He stood there, he didn't worship, he didn't bow down, and he got mad, and that's why he was so angry with him, because he was doing what is right. He didn't just go with the flow. So, Haram is planning all of this stuff. He's going to pay him, he's going to do this, and the following day he's going to talk to the king. He goes to the king. He's just before he talks to the king, and listen to what God did. The night before that, the king Xerxes couldn't sleep, and he asked them to read his article. They wrote the stories about him. He's like, read the stuff there. Read my books, my chronicles. I'm going to sleep now. Get me to bed. And while they're reading this, they read how Mordecai came to tell about those guys that was trying to planning to kill him. And the king was like, okay, what was done for Mordecai? And they said nothing. And he's like, okay, cool. We'll have to do something. And in the morning, he's standing there. Maybe he was pondering about this. And there comes Aaron, the man, feeling himself. And he comes there. And the king says to him, Aaron, let me ask you this. What can I do for a man that I want to honor? And Aaron says this beautiful thing. It's like, yeah, you take a cloak, one of your cloaks that you used to wear, the holy robes, and you give it to him, and you give him one of your horses that you rode, with a symbol of that you are the king. This is the king's horse. And then you will let him drive throughout the city and tell him, this is the man that the king honors, favors, and all of those good things. He's thinking it's going to come his way, but he didn't know. And the king says to him, go do as you just said. Don't even hesitate on going, cutting anything. Exactly what you did. Do that for Mordecai. Excuse me. I don't know about you, but picture this. Mordecai, he was holding on. I mean, he was about to die. They fasted. They trusted in God. And all of a sudden, the Holy Spirit, God comes through, and the Holy Spirit comes through, and they made a way for him. Where it seems like there's no way, because if this guy has it out for him, he wants to murder him. He wants to kill him so bad. He wants to wipe the whole nation out of the picture. But God intervenes. When God comes in, the story changes. Wherever Jesus walked in, the story changed. The wedding without the wine, Jesus walks there, bam, the story changes. The lady with a blood problem, Jesus walks by, she touches right there, bam, the story changes. The blind man, Jesus walked there, story changes. So, all I'm saying is this, allow God to walk into your life, because I guarantee that your story will change. Jesus walked into my life, story changed. I want to surrender everything and give everything to God. You are God's treasure. You need to seek more Because the minute when you live according to His plan, you will see what He does in you. I want to walk. May God bless you this week. May you love people wherever you go. God bless you. Goodbye.
Story, you hold it all together. God of my present, God of my future, you write my story. You hold it all together. God of my present, and you are God of my future. You still writing my story. Yeah, you hold it all. You my present, God of my future. Sing it out. You write you're the author and the finisher. You are God of my, and you still are. You're not caught by surprise. You write my, you hold one more time. Say you are God of my, and you're still writing. God of my future. You write my story. Yeah, you hold it all together. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you are. You hold it all together. Hallelujah. You hold it all together. In my hands it falls apart, but you hold it all. In my hands I fall apart, but you hold it. My past, my present, my future, you hold. I believe that you see, say, the good. Your goodness doesn't change. I'm confident and see your faithfulness. Your faithfulness, your faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness, your faithful. Morning by morning, new mercies. Morning by morning, your faithful. All I have needed, your hand has provided. Your faithful. All I have needed, your hand you have provided. You have provided. Your faithful. You are the Alpha and your Omega. You're in the middle. You hold it all together. You are the Alpha and your Omega. You're in the middle. You hold it all together. You are the Alpha. You're in the middle. You hold it all. You are the Alpha. But you're not just at the beginning. But you're not just at the end. You're right here in the middle. You're not just at the beginning, and you're not just watching from the end, but you're walking with me in the middle. You're walking with me in the middle. You're the God of the middle. You're Jehovah in the middle. You're provider in the middle. You are healer in the middle. You're a keeper in the middle. Hey, you are the Alpha and your Omega. You're in the middle. You hold it all. You do. You do. In my hands I fall apart, but you One thing I'm sure about, I'm confident that I see the change. Your faithfulness. If you know you serve a faithful King, would you lift up a shout of praise in this room? Come on. He's faithful. Come on, he's faithful. He's faithful. He's faithful. He's faithful. He's faithful. He doesn't change. He's consistent. He doesn't change. He's consistent.